I told you. Scroll back through my videos. Read the comments I left when silver was dumping through $72. Read what I said when the panic sellers were flooding the forums with silver is dead and I should have sold at the top. I told you. Hold the line. And now here we are. $80. Green candles across every chart. The same people who panic sold at 70 are now watching the train leave the station without them. This is not a victory lap. I don't do victory laps. There's no time. Because what happened in the last 72 hours was not a random bounce. It was not a dead cat recovery. It was not technical traders buying the dip. What happened was a transfer of wealth, from your hands to theirs, from weak hands to strong hands, from retail investors who don't understand the game to institutions who wrote the rules. And if you don't understand exactly what just happened and what's about to happen next, you're going to get fleeced again. I'm AG. Let me show you how the heist worked, who pulled it off, and why $80 is not the ceiling. It's the floor. I'm more to the video. Let's rewind to 72 hours ago. Silver is trading at $78. The momentum is strong. Retail sentiment is euphoric. Everyone is talking about $100 by February. And then, in the span of 6 hours during the overnight session, the price collapses. 75, 73, 71, finally bottoming at $70.14. 10% down in 6 hours. The financial media, the same people who ignored silver's entire rally, suddenly found time to write about it. Silver crashes. Precious metals rout. Speculative bubble bursts. Social media was even worse. I watched the sentiment flip in real time. The same accounts that were posting rocket emojis at 78 were posting skull emojis at 70. I knew it was too good to be true. Should have taken profits. Silver is manipulated garbage. And here's what I need you to understand. That reaction was the point. The dump to $70 was not an accident. It was not a market correction. It was not profit-taking by smart money. It was a hunt. A liquidity hunt. The Sisted ate one Ming's down. Let me explain how this works, because if you don't understand the mechanics, you will fall for it again. Large institutions, we're talking bullion banks, trading desks at major financial firms, and yes, certain central banks, they don't buy silver the way you buy silver. When you want to buy silver, you go to a dealer, you pay the ask price, and you get your metal. Simple. When JP Morgan wants to buy 50 million ounces, they have a problem. If they just put in a market order, their own buying would push the price up before they could fill their position. They'd be buying against themselves. So what do they do instead? They manufacture a crash. Here's the playbook. First, they identify where the retail stop losses are clustered. This isn't hard. Retail traders are predictable. They set stops at round numbers, at recent lows, at technical support levels. The algorithms can see this order flow in real time. Second, they wait for a low liquidity moment. Overnight sessions, holiday weekends, the hours when most retail traders are asleep and market depth is thin. This is when a relatively small amount of selling can move the price dramatically. Third, they dump a large amount of paper contracts in a short window, not to establish a short position to trigger the stop losses, to create a cascade of automatic selling that feeds on itself. Fourth, and this is the key, they buy everything that the stop losses spit out. While retail traders are waking up to margin calls and panic selling, the institutions are quietly accumulating at prices 10% below where the market was trading hours earlier. By the time the market recovers, the wealth has been transferred. Retail owns less silver. Institutions own more. And the price is right back where it started, as if nothing happened. Except everything happened. Is break? This is exactly what occurred between Thursday night and Friday morning. The drop from 78 to 70 was not driven by any fundamental news. There was no supply shock, no demand collapse, no policy announcement, nothing in the real world changed. What changed was the order book. Approximately $400 million worth of paper silver contracts were dumped into the overnight market within a 90-minute window. This wasn't someone trying to exit a position efficiently. This was someone trying to move the price. The size of the orders, the timing, the execution pattern, it all points to a deliberate liquidity hunt. And it worked perfectly. When silver broke below $72, the stop-loss cascade began. Retail traders who had set stops at 72, at 71, at 70, they all got triggered. Many of them were leveraged. Many of them had their entire positions liquidated automatically. By the time the sun rose on Friday, an estimated $800 million worth of retail silver positions had been liquidated. Where did that silver go? Who was on the other side of those liquidations, buying every contract that retail was forced to sell? You already know the answer. It's squeezed again. Now let me show you the evidence that this wasn't just speculation. Let me show you who was buying. Exhibit 1. The Pentagon smelter announcement. 2 weeks ago, buried in a Department of Defense procurement document, was an announcement that most people missed. The Pentagon is investing $7.4 billion to construct a dedicated silver and strategic metals smelting facility in Tennessee. $7.4 billion. The Pentagon doesn't spend $7 billion on a whim. They don't build smelters for metals they don't need. This facility is specifically designed to process silver for military applications, guidance systems, communications equipment, advanced weapons platforms. But here's the detail that made me sit up straight. The ownership structure. The Pentagon will directly control 40% of this facility's output. Not through contracts, not through purchase agreements, direct ownership. They are guaranteeing themselves first claim on the silver that comes out of this smelter. Why would the Department of Defense need to own a smelter? Why wouldn't they just buy silver on the open market like everyone else? Unless they know the open market won't be able to supply them. Unless they know something about the future of silver availability that the rest of us don't. Exhibit 2. JP Morgan's financing. The same JP Morgan that has been accused for decades of suppressing silver prices through paper manipulation, that JP Morgan is providing the primary financing for this Pentagon smelter project. Read that again. The largest short seller in silver market history is now financing physical silver production for the U.S. military. This is not a hedge fund changing its opinion. This is not an analyst upgrade. This is the vampire deciding to open a blood bank, the arsonist becoming a firefighter, the wolf buying a shepherd costume. When your enemy starts doing exactly what you've been doing, it means they've concluded that your strategy is correct. It means they've seen the endgame and they're positioning for it. JP Morgan is getting out of paper and into physical. That's all you need to know about where this market is going. Exhibit 3. The Shanghai Premium. Right now, at this exact moment, silver on the Shanghai Gold Exchange is trading at $82 per ounce. Silver on the COMEX in New York is trading at $80 per ounce. That's a $2 per ounce arbitrage gap. In a normal functioning market, this gap would be impossible. Traders would buy silver in New York, ship it to Shanghai, sell it for $2 more, and pocket the difference. This arbitrage would close the gap within hours. But the gap isn't closing. It's been persistent for weeks. Sometimes it widens to $3, $4. Why? Because you can't actually get the silver out of New York. The COMEX price is a fiction. It's the price of a paper contract that may or may not be backed by real metal. The Shanghai price is the price of silver that actually exists, that you can actually take delivery of. The gap between these prices is telling you that the paper market is breaking, that the claims on silver exceed the available supply, that when East and West price the same metal differently, the Eastern price is the real one, and the Western price is the illusion. Chinese buyers aren't paying $82 because they're stupid. They're paying $82 because they understand that the $80 price in New York is a number on a screen, not metal in a vault. Generlo. Now, let me show you the timeline of what comes next. I don't have a crystal ball, but I have data. I have supply chain contacts. I have the ability to do arithmetic that apparently escapes most financial analysts. Here's the math. COMEX registered silver inventory, the silver that's actually available for delivery against futures contracts, currently stands at approximately 30 million ounces. 30 million ounces sounds like a lot until you look at the rate of drawdown. Over the past 2 weeks, an average of 2 million ounces per day has been leaving COMEX warehouses. Not transferred to eligible inventory. Leaving. Being loaded onto trucks and ships and planes. Being sent to destinations that are not coming back. 2 million ounces per day, 30 million ounces in inventory. Do the division. At the current rate of drawdown, COMEX registered inventory hits zero in 15 days. That's January 31st. Maybe February 2nd if the rate slows slightly. What happens when registered inventory hits zero? The COMEX can no longer function as a physical delivery market. It becomes a pure cash settlement casino. Anyone standing for delivery gets a check instead of metal. And the price discovery mechanism that has controlled silver for decades simply stops working. This is not a prediction. This is arithmetic. 2 million a day times 15 days equals 30 million. The only question is whether the rate of drawdown accelerates or decelerates. And given the Shanghai premium, given Chinese buying, given industrial demand, I see no reason for it to decelerate. The countdown has begun. Enters. Here's my price forecast. And I want to be specific because I want you to hold me accountable. Tonight and through this week, $84. This is the next resistance level, and I expect it to break within days, possibly hours. The momentum from the $70 bounce is carrying us straight through. The shorts who tried to cover during the dip are now underwater again and getting squeezed. Next week, $100. The psychological barrier. When silver crosses triple digits for the first time since 1980, it will make mainstream news. This will bring a flood of new retail buyers into the market, adding fuel to the fire. The banks will attempt another shakeout here. Do not fall for it. February, $150. By this point, the COMEX inventory crisis will be visible to everyone. Delivery failures will be reported. The paper-physical disconnect will be front-page news. Industrial users will be panic buying. Mint rationing will be widespread. March, $200. The squeeze enters its terminal phase. Banks begin settling contracts in cash at unfavorable rates. Lawsuits are filed. Congressional hearings are scheduled. But by then, it won't matter. The physical market will have completely decoupled from paper. Summer, $300. The new equilibrium. The price at which supply and demand actually balance when you remove 40 years of paper manipulation. This isn't even a radical prediction, it's the same number Bank of America published in their research note last month. Write these numbers down. Set calendar reminders. And when we hit each target, remember who told you it was coming. Insular's somewhere, Dector. Now, let me tell you what to do about it. If you own physical silver, do nothing. Hold. The $70 dip was designed to scare you into selling. The $84 rise is designed to tempt you into selling. The $100 level will be designed to convince you that this is the top. None of these are the top. Do not sell your physical silver for paper currency that is being printed into oblivion. If you own paper silver, convert to physical immediately. I cannot stress this enough. SLV, futures contracts, unallocated accounts. These are claims on metal that may not exist. When COMEX inventory hits zero, paper holders will receive cash settlements at prices determined by the very institutions that caused the crisis. They will not receive metal. Convert now while conversion is still possible. If you don't own silver yet, buy at $80. Do not wait for a dip to $70. The $70 dip already happened. You missed it. It was designed to be missed by retail and captured by institutions. Waiting for another dip is hoping that the heist repeats. It might, but each time it repeats, the floor rises. The next manufactured dip might be to 85, the one after that to 90. Stop trying to time the bottom and start accumulating. If you're worried about volatility, understand what volatility means in this context. The volatility is not randomness, it's warfare. Every dip is an attack designed to separate you from your position. Every recovery is proof that the attack failed. The volatility is the sound of the old system dying and the new system being born. It's not a reason to avoid silver. It's confirmation that silver is exactly where you need to be. And Caltiment, let me leave you with a final thought. The $70 shakeout was a gift. Not to you, you probably didn't buy the bottom unless you're one of my most dedicated followers. It was a gift to the Pentagon, to JP Morgan, to Chinese sovereign wealth funds, to everyone who understands what silver actually is and what it will become in the next monetary system. They use the panic of retail investors to accumulate physical metal at a 10% discount. They harvested the weak hands. They consolidated ownership of a scarce strategic resource at the expense of people who don't understand the game. And now, 48 hours later, they're already up 10% on those positions, with another 200% to go. The question is not whether you believe my price targets. The question is, do you want to be on the same side as the Pentagon and JP Morgan in China? Or do you want to be on the other side? Because there are only two sides, buyers and sellers, holders and folders, those who understand, and those who get harvested. The $70 shakeout harvested the folders. Don't let the next shakeout harvest you. Silver is at $80. It's going to 84 tonight, 100 next week, and 300 by summer. The algorithm will try to scare you. The media will try to confuse you. The paper price will try to lie to you. Ignore all of it. Hold your mettle. Buy more if you can. This is AG. The shakeout is over. The breakout has begun. You know what to do.